Hey, welcome to the video. This is the final part of the super base project, and here it is. It's finito. We're all done. Oh boy, at last, 3 years. It was June 21st of 2017 that I uploaded the first part, and now it's June of 2020. It's been a long road. I did a lot of things to the super base. A lot of things happened in my life, your life, and I never thought that I would be finishing this base in such a crazy time right now. The world pandemic, what a nutty time, and a lot of scared and upset people happening right now. But hopefully there's going to be some good stuff come out of this. You know, there has to be, right? You know, we all have to learn that we're in this together every single day, not just this year, but all the time. You know, we got to learn to respect each other and love each other, because if we don't, you know, the aliens won't come. So it doesn't matter what color you are or what country you're from. We got to love and respect each other. But anyway, you didn't come here to listen to me rant about what's going on in the world. You come here because you want to see some guitar stuff and you want to see what I did, how I finished this. Get away from all the other stuff. So anyways, you watch the video. Now I'm going to go shave my little beard off that I grew while I was in isolation. Having so much fun here with the super bass. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've been working on it. I go back and forth. I work on other stuff. I come back to it. I work on other stuff and come back. Problem is, I went to get all the parts out because I installed the pickups today, and I couldn't remember exactly how I designed it. So I figured it out, got everything in there, and this is an overkill project. This whole bass project is just overkill. To see how crazy I can do this. These pickups are mounted in here. I made a special mounting system in a way that it'll mount the pickups through the body and attach to these steel bars. And it's like a giant clamp. They're just sucking all that tone from the body. Just got my ground wire kind of installed here. That's what this is, the green wire. And I've got it all stripped off here. This will attach over to one of the bridge bolts, so that I have the bridge, make sure that that is grounded, and then it's going to span across this area, making contact with all three of those bars underneath, and then anything touching these bars, all these bolts, and even the neck bolts will be grounded. Funny when you haven't worked on something for a long time, you especially something like this where you've kind of made a lot of custom pieces, you forget like, how is this going to go together? So I'm taking this one step at a time, because I don't want to go too fast and then realize I forgot a piece or I missed something and I have to backtrack and take things apart. This is the string bushings that go in the back. Along the back here, that's where the string will go in here. That's where the ball end of the string will sit. And then instead of just sitting in the back, they actually go all the way through. So they come out, and this part sits in the back of the bridge, this giant bridge that I've made. You know, they sit in the back like that. So you can see how much contact there is. As much as possible is what I'm going for. Just overkill, ridiculous overkill. But it was these ends that I had to rework a little bit, because they were kind of rough still. These things I machined. I made these things out of a bolt, and they used to look like that. They don't look really pretty, but that's what the end used to look like. And I actually drilled through the center, and then machined the end. Put that in. I don't know if it was at the drill press or a hand drill. Polished it out, drilled it out, did all that kind of stuff, make it look nice and pretty. The middle part is rough because you're not going to see it at all, and this part you just barely see a little bit sticking out. But and the bridge here, this is basically, it's like I guess you call it silicone paper or something. It's the back of what you would find on a sticker. And I put this on the back here because this bare bridge stuck to the bolted to the body will stick to the paint over time. And if I ever have to take the bridge off, I don't want to have to worry about pulling a whole bunch of paint off, because that actually happened right over here. I had it sitting on there for a little while, and it pulled a bit of the paint off. So I thought, all right, I'll do this and that. It's like a little gasket to hopefully save that from ever happening. But yeah, it's looking kind of cool, and I have to turn these around soon. Check this out. I've got the wiring done. How many years have I been working on this thing? And there's my own diagram that I made up. It's very much like a Les Paul, really. It's not your standard bass stuff, you know, because they like to have the little faders. I went with an actual, you know, switch, a 3-position switch. But after all this time working on it, I'm just about to, or I was just about to wire the output. And the terminals, I thought they were like too bunched up, you know, I wanted to spread them out a little bit. So I thought, well, let me just pry that out a little bit. Snap! It came right off. Oh man, I couldn't believe it. So I thought, okay, it's wrecked now. Let me try to open it up. Maybe I can solder right inside or something. I don't know. But it's garbage. I tried. It's all the pieces. I ordered a new one. It's, you know, I'm just gonna have to wait an extra week, I guess. You know, it's been 4 years. What's another week, right? But I'm gonna test it. I've got my alligator clips out. I'm gonna get my voltmeter there, or not my. I'm gonna hook it up to the amp, hook up, and just tap the pickups. Make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to, and then if it's all good, as I hope it should be, then it's time to get the neck in place and maybe even get some strings on today. Holy crap! I can't believe we're at this point.
Super strings for the super bass.
Oh man, I'm kind of happy. I finally got my strings. Long story short, well, you know, with all this COVID-19 stuff happening, I couldn't just run down to my local guitar shop and buy a set of strings. I went to eBay, and I always have very good luck, except this time. There was, without going into detail, there was a screw up in somewhere. I don't know whose end. Not mine. I paid the guy and everything. Anyway, I have not touched this thing in over a month. The last time that I, you know, got this thing assembled and was ready to go, just needed strings, and of course the got the output installed, no problem. Now this time, I didn't bust it. So now we are ready to put some strings on this thing. Very excited. This is a 4-year mission. It's almost done. All right, let's string it up. Here we go, the finished super bass. Is it super? It definitely is. I think so. I'm actually impressed because when you work on tiny little bits, one piece at a time, you think when it's all finished, it's just going to look like a bunch of junky pieces together. You know, it's the sum of all of its parts, right? And I really do think it has a nice, cool look. That's for sure, you know. And I'm sure there's people out there thinking like, wow, I didn't think he would actually finish this. I don't blame them. You know, I do take a long time to finish stuff, but I just want to go over some of the parts that I haven't really talked a whole lot about. I don't know if I've really discussed how I designed the pickup mounting system. These are lock nuts. I know it's crazy. You never see lock nuts on a guitar or bass, but the idea is that there's a bolt that goes through the body all the way to the steel bars on the back, and there are brass plates underneath here that kind of sandwich that pickup, you know, like a clamp. But to hold it all together, there's a copper plumbing pipe. You know, you use what you can find, and that helps to kind of, this is solid. These things are solidly mounted. That was part of the overkill. Just going to excess to try to see what would happen. You know, I think I've talked a lot about that bridge. I did swap out these posts with shorter ones, and I may eventually, I've been planning it already, to make my own saddles out of big brass blocks. You know, I can't leave it alone. Something I've been talking about from the beginning all the way through the process. You can see that plug right here, and there's another one back here. You can see it. When I first polished this body out, they were invisible. And I was saying at the time, they will show over time. And that's, you know, this is one thing that I wanted to point out all the way through this project. You can plug something and then sand it smooth and finish it, and you never see it, but you come back a month later, you go like, oh, what's that? Okay, so, you know, that's something I was aware of from the beginning, but I knew it was going to happen, but I was going to live with it. This is my own base, and it's going to have its own patina. Here's something I have definitely not talked about at all, because I didn't know what I was going to do with this all the way through the project. I knew I was going to use this diamond plate. It's a plastic, it's actually a boot tray. I bought it for $10, a huge thing, and I've made several for other guitars. It's great. I love it. But, you know, I didn't know if I was going to paint it. I didn't know how I was going to put the flame graphic or whatever. You know, I didn't like to continue it on because that was really important. I did that as part of the steel. I etched it in so the flames come in there. They don't stop. And I was like, well, how am I going to do that with the plastic? And I want to show the material. Like, you know, I put a clear coat on this, but it's still, you know, it's the steel. It shows what it's made out of. That was really important. I wanted to do the same with this. What are you going to do with plastic? I didn't want to paint it. I didn't want to put a faux finish. So I think I'm pretty much just going to leave it as is. And, you know, that's what it is. It's a plastic pickguard that I etched or carved in with my little rotary tool, my little Dremel, so that the flame matches. But other than that, I think I've talked about everything else on the back. Now, I think I've talked about the headstock quite a bit in this series, and I'm going to talk about it more in upcoming videos. So I'm going to do one about how to make your own headstock decals and things like that, and this is going to be one of the ones I use for sure, along with some of my other headstocks. But it's the tuners. These I bought, they were black because that was how this base was going to be, black hardware. You know, I made some changes, right? Like quite a few under changes. So I sanded off all the finish and put a clear coat on here. I think that looks really, really sharp. I like this better now than if it were all black. And if you have noticed, yes, these knobs are from Tabasco bottles. Took a while to save 4, but I didn't know I had 4 years. That's a bottle a year, so, you know, I had plenty of time, right? But I might end up swapping these up for bigger ones. I mean, you can see the nut under here, but that really doesn't bother me a whole lot. These are kind of cool, kind of like MXR knobs. I'm going to have a video showing how I make these coming up soon. And I already did a video on this little guy up here. Made him from some Halloween decorations. And a cool little skull guy. So go back in my videos, you can check that one out. Okay, here we are. We're at the end of the series, and this is the super close-up of the super bass. And people probably thought I would never finish, but you know, thank you if you stuck out from the very beginning, because you know, it means a lot to me. I know this has been a long series time-wise from the first time I put the very first part up. But anyway, we're done. And I know a lot of people are going to be curious to hear what this thing sounds like. So in about 5 to 10 seconds from now, you're going to see a link, and that's going to take you to another video. And that's a video that I'm planning at this moment. I haven't even written it yet. Play this bass, just the bass. I'm going to do drums, the bass, of course. There's, you know, the guitars. Everything will be this bass. That's my plan. We'll see how it turns out. So that's coming up next. So subscribe to my channel, Johnny B Guitars. There's more things coming up all the time. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. What else can I say? Jeez, this is like a big moment. I'm all nervous. It's like the Oscars, you know. Stay safe, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.